We got the NFC West up next. Last year, the Rams won it at 10-7. Seahawks right behind them at 10-7. Cardinals at 8-9. Niners at 6-11. Who do you have winning the NFC West, Deshaun?
This is again such an interesting division because I feel like on paper a lot of these teams should be better than what they showed last year. Now, obviously, San Francisco had a lot of injuries. Arizona, there's just something weird going on with their quarterback situation. Some weeks he looks like an all-pro. Some weeks he looks like he should be playing Division 3 football. Seattle,
with his size.
Yes. Seattle is, again, just that weird team where they're good enough to be average but not bad enough to be horrible. So I think with that being said, and then also the addition of Davante Adams, I think the Rams are a clear cut. I think they have a good enough defense, and they have just such a high-powered offense. Like, you got Davante Adams, you got Matthew Stafford, Puka, and Kyron Williams. Like, you just have so much going on that offense in a division that does not really have an answer for it. I wouldn't be surprised if they win 12-plus games. But I do expect a bounce back from San Francisco this year.
I agree. We're going to agree in the NFC West here. The Rams are a Super Bowl contender. I don't see how that changes unless Matthew Stafford is out for an extended period of time and they lose a bunch of games. Obviously, this is dependent on the health of Matthew Stafford, but that's the case for a lot of NFL teams in the NFL, maybe besides like Philly, I would say. Like, your quarterback's not healthy. You're not winning games in most case scenarios.
Absolutely.
That being said, Matthew Stafford's late 30s. We don't know what he's going to be with all these injuries, but I have full faith in him. They gave Philly their biggest test in their Super Bowl run last year by far. You can argue it was in the snow and the conditions played a factor. At the end of the day, it is what it is. They played Philly's best game whenever it was on a Saturday or Sunday night, and they almost beat them with like 20 seconds left on the clock. Defensively, their front seven is excellent. They had two of the top three finishers in Defensive Rookie of the Year race last year. The Defensive Rookie of the Year in Jared Verse. Again, lots of pressure on the quarterback, which is excellent. Secondary is concerning. They got to step it up. It's going to be a problem again this year. If they can stay strong and if Stafford is healthy, this team is winning 12 or 13 games. They're going all the way, maybe to the conference championship, meeting Philly there and having that rematch. And then offensively, like you said, Deshaun, O-line's okay, middle of the pack, average. They're going to need to protect Stafford if he's got injury issues, but you got Davante Adams, you got Puka, you got Kyron Williams. What is there not to like here, right? So I think that they win this division, but I do think that the Niners, considering their schedule, they're right behind. I have them at 10-7, making the playoffs, Deshaun. I know you didn't make it very clear yet if they are in your playoff picture or not, but for me, it's more likely the Niners make the playoffs than if they don't. Their schedule is a piece of cake. Top three easiest in the NFL. Offense is really young. They're bringing Brock Purdy back on the massive extension. Ricky Pearsall is going to need to step up with Ayuk out and Juwan Jennings on IR, I believe, to start the season. But if CMC is healthy, this team is transformed. This offense is transformed into below average or average to potentially above average. CMC really does that, and if he can be his old self, I mean, we're talking about a Saquon Barkley-esque injection into this offense. And then defensively, like, they lost some veterans on defense, but again, they've been injured. Nothing new. They got Nick Bosa. They draft Michael Williams. They're putting pressure on the quarterback. Let's see how the secondary does, but I think the Niners make the playoffs with their schedule.
The only issue that I have with the Niners is they are now in a back against the wall type of situation, and when you're in that situation, you have to rely on your stars to be stars. And at this point in Christian McCaffrey's career, I don't know if he can handle that workload. And I'm not saying that he can't handle that workload in terms of skill or talent. It's just I don't know if his body will physically hold up.
That's
and
a fair point.
For the Niners staff success, it's going to need to be through Christian McCaffrey, especially on like the offensive side of the ball. You're not getting Ayuk back to week 6 or 7, and then once he's back, you don't even know what like you're getting. So really, for those for like that first half of the season, like you're really banking on Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall to like really be able to hold it down on the outside, and then hopefully George Kittle's also able to have another All Pro year. But that's a lot of expectations to place on guys that are either not used to that much responsibility, or B, in a situation where maybe they're physically not able to handle that workload anymore. But if health is not a factor, I wouldn't be surprised if they do make the playoffs, but I do not have the Niners sneaking in this year.
Okay, interesting. Do you have a wild card team coming out of the NFC West?
Out of the NFC West, I do not.
Okay. See, so the only thing favoring the Niners, in my opinion, is their schedule. I do think that their team's all right, but they're going through this mini rebuild, and I know they got Brock Purdy, but they're still trying to find their identity again. They drafted pretty well this year, focused defensively. The only way they sneak in is if they win the easy games on their schedule, and they take advantage of the layups that they're given. Like you said, too, I failed to mention it, but Kittle could be the number one receiver for this offense. Not a problem. We've seen it with Gronk in the past. We've seen it with Kelsey. He can manage the workload. Yeah, exactly. He's going to have to be, because I don't think Ricky's going to slide into that number one role, at least to start the season. So if Kittle's healthy, CMC's healthy, we're potentially looking at a 9 or 10 win team in San Francisco with that schedule. But again, really dependent on the health, and they've been like the most injured team in the league multiple times in the past 5 seasons, which is insane to think about. So something's going on over in San Francisco, but obviously dependent on the health.